Ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for coming out. What a beautiful turnout. I'd like to call the Monday, November 16th City Council meeting to order. It's now 7 p.m. We'll have the invocation tonight by Bishop Charles Williams, House of the Pentecostal, and the Pledge of Allegiance will be followed by Police Explorers and Councilman Burgess.
Father, in the name of Jesus, that we come before that throne of grace, that throne of mercy, receiving the God of mercy. You are the Father, and we're your children, and we are in need of your help. Lord, you said in all thy ways we must acknowledge you, and you will direct our paths. Lord, we need to lead us in your direction. And Lord, we want to thank you, Lord, for our commissions and our new elect mayor and those that preside over the business of the city. Look on them, warm down in your storehouse of wisdom, crown them with the wisdom, the knowledge and understanding that whatsoever they do or say, that whatever decision that they make be wise, that it be beneficial to the city and also to those that are in need of the help from the city. We pray your blessing upon them tonight, Lord, that everything, that whatever the problems is, Lord, under our new elected official, Lord, that you will lead them, guide them, and direct them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in pledging our flag in this great country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Right face. Forward. March.
Thank you, Bishop Williams. Thank you, Honor Guard. Thank you, Councilman Burgess. At this time, roll call.
Mayor Bateman? Here. Vice Mayor Waldman? Here. Councilman Burgess?
Here.
Councilwoman Lobos? Here. Councilman Maldonado?
Here.
Councilman Shelley?
Here. Councilman
Williams?
Here. If there are no objections, I would like to take the agenda and move an item around. My item 8 up to now to item 3, and that is public comment. Public comment, I had promised that we'd move it earlier in the agenda, so without any objections, I would like to move public comment to now. So anyone that's wishing to make a public comment before us, please come forward.
Mayor, may I ask a question?
Sure, Vice Mayor.
If we'd like to make a deletion or an addition to the agenda, should it be done now, before public comments?
I think the mayor's suggesting that it be done right after public
Okay,
comment.
thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mary Jo Butler. My address is 306 Northwest 7th Avenue, Homestead. To the mayor and councilmen and to the public, I'm here to thank the city for my nice sidewalk, but they left holes from the street to the sidewalk, and I'm getting mud puddles when it rains. I can't get in my house. I called the supervisor, but he has never returned my call. So I'm going to call him again to see if we can work something out about those holes. My next thing is, are we still in the business of building a city hall. My thing of it is, our city has been in trouble with our budget. So, I can't see where a city hall, new city hall would serve the purpose at this time when we have people who have lost their jobs. We have 18 million plus 1 million that's lying there that could possibly put people back to work. Do cosmetic things to our city hall. We have land here that we can adjust to make it bigger if it has to be bigger. If you have too much of a paper trail, you can do CDs, microfilm, and anything to get this paper trail solved. But right now, I can't see where $18 million for a city hall, where you have laid off people because these people need their jobs. I don't see where that is feasible. We could do other things with that money. This city hall is perfect. Just do cosmetic surgery to it and make it bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, and give these people their jobs.
Well, Mrs. Butler, I thank you for coming forward, and we are putting together a committee of community people, architects, attorneys, builders, to look at the entire project, to go over it. So you'll have, I'm sure, 90, 120 days that they're going to do nothing besides dissect this in 16 different directions to tell us, is it feasible? Does it work? Is it the right thing to do?
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Any council members want to answer to Ms. Butler? Oh, okay. Thank you. Next.
Good evening, Ruth Campbell, 24 Northeast 12th Street, Homestead, Florida. I attend the Historic Preservation Board meeting in downtown Miami once a month. 3 months ago, they, without notice or anything, stopped all the entrance exams, and I'm wondering why we still have one as we come in our city hall. I think it's up to the city council whether you want to have it or not.
Well, good question, Mr. Campbell. It's a question that I had too, and I have, so give council and myself a chance to get together on a little summit or something. We come together on a workshop, and we'll bring it up, we'll discuss it. I agree with you. It's a bit harsh.
Thank you.
Good evening, council. Mayor, new council, city manager. My name is, I can do it to music. My name is Yvonne Knowles. I'm the director of Main Street. I'm here on 2 points. The first point is to make you aware that on December the 11th, the Gateway Environmental K-8 Learning Center, of which I'm the proud first principal for the day, has asked me to let you know that they are having their open house dedication ceremony on Friday, the 11th of December, 2009, at 10 o'clock in the morning. And we hope that the members of the council and will be there to support this wonderful new public school in Homestead. And so that's my first point. The second point is real quick. The issue of downtown, we have a property owner who has purchased quite a bit of our downtown businesses, has plans of converting retail space into a medical college. Downtown retailers are very upset about this. Some of them have lost their leases, have been asked to vacate the property in preparation for this new medical college. I'm pleading with you that through the planning and zoning, that we look very carefully at this application from the aspect of the parking requirements for this particular college. We have a parking issue right now downtown, and we proposed college with 300 slots. I don't know where we're going to park them. This is a major, major problem for us, and this is a zone district arts and entertainment, and turning 4 of our major buildings downtown into a campus is not going to enhance or increase the historic district as an arts and entertainment district. So I'm just making our new council aware of this. Coming up, it's not your decision. I know first it has to go to planning and zoning, but I do want you to be aware of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Knowles.
Good evening, Mayor and Vice Mayor.
My name is Gary Johnson. I have an organization called the Brotherhood of Love Incorporated, and I live at 503 Southwest Homestead, Florida. I have 2 or 3 things that I want to bring to your attention. I constantly walk the southwest area of Homestead. We have probably 8, 9 apartment buildings over there. No lights, no water, and families is living in these buildings with 5 and 6 month old babies, from 6 months old to 9 and 10-year-olds. And they have been living there in these buildings for over 3 years now. Not only is this a hazard, it's very dangerous to have a baby in that type of environment, you know. And then we have like over 13 pieces of property over there that have grown up like a jungle. The property owners do not pay them any attention. They don't even come down to see about them. And we have kids that play in those areas. Matter of fact, one of the particular areas, last year, they found a dead body in it. You know, and I can't speak before the ones that was here before, but the ones that's here now. My thing is, what do y'all plan on doing about the southwest area of Homestead? Because there's no way to sugarcoat it. It's being totally overlooked. It's like that community over there is non-existent. And I can take you and show you different areas. A lot of y'all don't know, because the only time you come down there is when it's time for election. See, but our community don't just need y'all attention when election time comes. You know, come and visit some of the people. Listen to their problems. As I was walking the community, I think it was Saturday, and one of the properties that's abandoned is next door to another lady, I think, and she came out. She said, Mr. Johnson, she said, you know, I got snakes and rats and everything coming in my yard. And this lady keep her yard very lovely, you know. And I think that it's time that somebody step up and do the right thing. We have to come together as one people and one community. We can't expect the mayor to do it all. We can't expect the vice mayor to do it all, and the city council. We need to pitch in together, you know, because the same way y'all have y'all community looking good and pretty, we want the southwest area to be pretty and looking nice too, you know. And my next thing is, I had to write this down. It say, to the city mayor and city council of Homestead, Florida, we, the Brotherhood of Love, would like to take this time to address and bring to your attention the needs and concerns of kids and their family in Homestead with poor living conditions, hunger, and serious problems that is going on in our community. How is it that a nation so strong and powerful can take care of others' concerns by catering to their needs, clothing them and providing money for them, housing them, and food? However, when it comes to the United States of America, we can't even take care of our own needs. Don't forget, people's charity start at home. And thank you very much, and sincerely, Brotherhood of Love, and to God be the glory.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. I assure you that those overgrown properties will be looked into. Our code enforcement will look into it. Mr. Williams, do you have anything?
Yes, well, actually,
we've kind of started it today. And there's, especially on the street that I live on 10th Avenue, of course, there's those railroad tracks, but I called the city manager, Chong, and he was very receptive, and they started on today, so they should complete it by tomorrow, and we'll look at the other areas, Mr. Johnson. We can walk it together and point out some things, and then I'll respond through that way. But as we know, Rome was not built overnight, so we know that we can handle one thing at a time. So we've already begun to start with that, okay? And so rest assured that your comments and that your questions that you raised have not fallen on deaf ears, okay? I hope I can answer that for you. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Bass.
Good evening. Jason Bass, 2927 Augusta Circle. Gary is a personal friend of mine, and Gary, I think that you can rest assured that our new mayor and council will, that's the people that you need up there to address those concerns. On a lighter note, I'm here briefly, very quickly, to commend our new mayor and our new council on the changes that we're already seeing and experiencing in City Hall. More specifically, our planning and zoning department, which I had the luxury of walking into for the first time in a while, and experiencing a very user-friendly system, and walking in, being able to ask a question, get a direct answer, a quick, very timely direct answer, and everything's going very smoothly, I think, a lot smoother than it has been in years, and just,
Thank you.
Great job, great job. Keep up the great work. Thank you.
I'm Linda Townley. I'm here to alert you to something new that's happening in our community at South Bay Senior High School that may help our community. I have the pleasure of teaching early childhood education levels 1, 2, 3, and 4, and my students are terrific. They have to take 6 Department of Children and Families tests, plus they work on a portfolio for their national CDA credential. All of that requires them to have hands-on experience with children, okay? So as of December 1st, we are proud to announce that we're going to open a preschool at South Bay. It's for 3- and 4-year-old children. We'll take them anytime they turn 3, after they turn 3, as long as they're potty trained. We're not set up for anything less than that. And it follows the school calendar, school days from 7:30 to 2:30. The cost is only $60 a week, which is great, and a one-time annual registration fee of $100. Let's see what else I have here. Let's see. We'll be using an awesome curriculum that follows the state standards and addresses all of the areas of child development. We hired a qualified aide who will supervise the high school students who will be teaching each day, while I, of course, continue to teach their portfolio, their certificates, and help them with their lesson plans. My students and I are very excited, and we want you to help us spread the word because nobody seems to know we're doing this, and we need students. It's really initially for the faculty and staff who have babies right now, but they're not 3, so we're waiting for that. If you have interest or you know somebody who qualifies with children, please have them call 305-247-4244, extension 2112, or drop by the school, fill out an inquiry form. I'll be happy to set up an appointment and let you see our beautiful, brand new facility. And should I ask for questions or not, sir?
Sure, please.
I'm sorry, I'm used to talking to the audience. Any questions?
Are there any questions?
Mayor, may I just say one thing?
Sure. Vice Mayor.
At South Bay Senior High School.
Do you know my son was in a program at South Bay Senior High School 32 years ago?
Mrs. Hay.
Mrs. Hay, Patty
Yes,
Hay.
indeed.
We
My
were
good friend.
the first class, so it's wonderful.
It's a great program. The kids get so much out of it.
Absolutely.
And we need students who are well qualified, which mine are.
Very, very nice program.
Do you want to repeat that phone number one more time? 305-247-4244, extension 2112.
Anybody in the office can tell them and send them to me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Oh, sorry.
What is the name of the curriculum again?
It's called the Little Investigators Club. It's research-based. It's very, very awesome. I was very excited about it. Anybody else? Okay.
Thank you again.
Thank you so much.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and councilpersons, and the city's residents. My name is Patricia Davis. I'm a registered nurse, more than 40 years of experience, and I understand that there have been plans to reschedule garbage and trash pickups. My concern is if there are adjustments to the pickups, here that they're going to be once a week for garbage and once a month for trash. My concern is safety and health issues. Garbage that's left a week and some garbage cans are not adequate for the families that occupy these residents. Sometimes, even with the twice-a-week pickups, you have overflowing trash and garbage on the roadsides. Cars come by and scatter. Now, these decaying foods on the streets would be a health hazard to our citizens, and that is not acceptable. Even if we are trying to save money, in the long run, it would be costly for health issues that might arise. As far as trash being picked up once a month, tree limbs, hedge cuttings, paperboard boxes, and the like, scattered in the roads will cause quite a bit of problems with passing vehicles. Thrown objects, safety would be a great issue. So I'm really concerned about the scheduling of the trash and garbage pickups.
Thank you. That is something that I've already looked into or looking into now. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm a little concerned about it as well, so some numbers are being worked on now for me by the department head, so we'll see what comes of it and how we can work it through the budget. Realize that the new budget is set based on what you just said. Now, I think garbage is still the same. It's twice. Garbage is going to stay the same. Garbage will stay the same twice a week. But the trash hasn't, by your former council, they made a decision to go once a month. I've asked to look at that already, and the department's working on it for me now. So we'll bring that back to you, and feel free to stay on top of it, stay on top of us on the whole issue.
Thank you very much.
I'm Lynn Washington, 905 Northwest 4th Avenue, Homestead. I'm known as a local pain in the neck. I'm thrilled to be up here. I've never gotten up here. I usually give pot shots on your way out. I'm thrilled that you're giving the community an opportunity to come up here. I hope you go back to twice a month, because I think you may find that you might, with one night, you may have an awful long night. I'm glad the garbage issue came up. It's not just a question of health and safety. We worked very hard not to make this an instant ghetto. And there's some, one of the things I don't understand, we have a sweep cleaner that goes down Chrome every early morning, whether it's needed or not, and I think there can be some ways of reallocating manpower and money. And going from once a week to once a month is a little nutso, if you want to know my opinion. Mm-hmm. I have some other concerns. One is I feel some very bad decisions were made in the last couple of months, supposedly under the guise of budget. Layoffs, raises, and stuff like that. And I don't know whether this new council has the authority, hopefully they have the interest, to reconsider what decisions had been made, and perhaps some decisions have to be altered. or rescinded. The third thing, and then I'll shut up, part of being a pain in the neck is I cruise the area. This is my hometown, believe it or not, even though I'm an import. And I see a variety of things that are going on, some things as simple as very basic safety hazards, and some things that are needs in citizens that you folks might not see, since my friends are of all walks of life. And I would like to see a viable way that citizens, not just from the podium here, but to be able to approach city officials and chair people with ideas, suggestions, and information. There are things I think that need to be attended to that aren't, not out of neglect or disinterest, but lack of awareness. So I'd like to see some sort of funnel for that to occur. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Next.
Good evening, Council. Good evening, ladies and gents. My name is Natalie Prieto. I am the Executive Director of the Children's Gallery and Art Center, a new nonprofit organization created in May 2009, but we started operating here in Homestead August 14th, 2009. We are located at 51 North Crum Avenue in Homestead, just across Losner Park. First of all, I want to extend an official invitation to every person here to visit our fine art gallery that is open Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. We have this fine art gallery at front, and in the back we have a beautiful artist studio in which we'll provide workshops, visual and performing arts workshops for little kids, for teens and adults. But the main reason I'm here tonight is to request every single person here to support the old traditions that we have in the city of Homestead, but also to support the new traditions we're creating. Because a city without technology and without arts is a city that is not going to prosper. Arts are important. I do believe that Mrs. Knowles here, Yvonne, is doing an excellent job. Our South is doing an excellent job. And Familia is doing an excellent job. And we that are the new babies in town, we are doing an excellent job. But we need your support. So we have been sending emails to some elected officials, probably from the previous ticket, to some other important people in the city of Homestead that historically have supported the arts, and we need to continue seeing you in our activities. I understand that every new venture, every new business is welcome in any city that wants to progress, but we also need to keep in mind that culture is directly related to education and to the cultural level of the city. If we want some other people, good people, new investors to come to our city, we need to get involved in community development through technology and through the arts. That is something that not only gives us more education, but also gives us peace of mind. This is part of our spirit, is part of the new traditions that we're trying to build in this city, and we need to support Main Street, we need to support the Children's Gallery and Art Center, we need to support our South and Familia and every other single person interested in the arts in this city. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, City residents, businessmen, one and all. My name is H.C. Palmer. I am the owner of Jacobson's Collectibles at 144 North Crum. I have spent the last 3 years trying to keep that business afloat while others in our historically designated district have gone under. Now, unfortunately, my area is designated as highly restricted retail, art, and entertainment. It doesn't say colleges, and I think there's a good reason for it. I cannot stress enough how negative something of this nature is going to be to that zoning area. We already don't have parking. When people come in, they complain. We have to park way over in the back because there is no street parking. Now, when you have a college, you have students that are there all day. Where are they going to park? And where are the people who are supposedly going to the restaurants going to park for an hour or 2 hours? Why are we even allowing something like this to occur? We have a beautiful park with a auditorium shell, I'm not sure of the exact name for it, for entertainment, and we're trying to beautify the historic area and make it highly commercial, and yet all the businesses, retail businesses across the street from me, have received eviction notices. I'm already having a heck of a time trying to get people to come down to the historic district to shop and to buy. And if all the stores are closed, where are we going to go? I'd like to know what your thought is on what you see happening to the historic district. Is it going to stay highly restricted retail, or are you all going to turn it into a college and whatever may go along with it, maybe a college bookstore?
Let me defer that question, because I'm as interested as you are. I tell you, I promise it didn't happen under this watch, but can we get, we have a new Development Services Director, but can we get some input, please?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, members of the City Council. The city has not received any formal application for any expansion of the college per se. Knowing these issues and pursuant to your direction, we could, at one point, once we receive that direction, or I can even reach out to them, approach them, and consider, perhaps look at other alternatives for growth of the college that may not include the area in question. There are other areas in which they can grow without affecting the art and entertainment district per se. So perhaps they have looked into that, perhaps not, but at this point, because we have not had that conversation, we simply don't know. But we will, if that is your direction, through the manager, I will be more than happy to look into it and report back to you.
Council, questions?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
And just for clarification, if they do decide that that's what they want to do, they'll have to apply for that, correct?
They would, like any other
public hearing, and everyone would have an opportunity to come in here and speak on that, and then we could make a decision if it's ever applied for, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
When these people are, sir, when these people are being given their notices of eviction, are they being told why, or any other information other than the notice of eviction given to them?
Through the undercurrent, yes. We have been told that they are all being evicted because they are, and they've already had their architects over there examining the buildings, because they are going to put in a college over there. And that's all I can tell you. I'm not privy to their personal conversations.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, Ms. Lewis.
Thank you. Through the chair, I would like to know, with all these leases and evictions going on, what possibly does the staff recommend that we do to stop that?
Councilwoman, Mr. Mayor, Madam Mayor, my recommendation would be, as I said earlier, if that is if you have concerns about the potential direction this is going, I could reach out to them and sit down and see what their plans are, and then report back to you, and we'll take it from there.
Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, Ms. Vice Mayor.
So you're saying that these buildings have already been purchased?
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. They have already been purchased. I think 4 of the businesses that were evicted have already closed down and moved out. Those are to the south of me on the east side of the street. The one directly across the street from me just received their eviction notice, and they're told they have to leave by December 31st. Now, that's going to leave me.
Well, I'm asking that question because I know Main Street's been operating by a volunteer director, and isn't it true, may I ask Sergio a question, that we could lose our historic designation if this happens?
Potentially.
Yes, potentially.
I'm sorry, potentially you could, the whole area could be threatened by a different type of growth or development trend, in this case, the college. I would definitely call them and have a conversation and find out what their plans are. Typically, what normally will happen is that before any purchases or any consideration for expansions is thought out, they would normally approach the city to see as to whether or not their plans are consistent with our, that general area, the overlay zoning or land use that you have for it, which is clearly distinctive of everything else around downtown. So to a degree, surprises me, but I will look into it, and I will bring it up to their attention, the fact that, that this has a different sort of overlay with a number of different design and use type criteria attached to it that might not necessarily be consistent with what they're planning, and we'll regroup. We'll look at other possibilities. My intent would be to find other avenues for them to have that expansion, because we do have, at the same time, have to recognize that there are an employer in the area as well, and they provide a number of other services and, things to the community. Education is part of, a big part of Homestead. So I think we can make it a win-win situation by taking that first step, sitting down and finding out what they want to do, and then...
But it is a historic downtown area, and we need to protect that, because that's rare for cities to have a historic downtown. So there has to be a balance, and the balance has to lean towards the historic factor of Chrome Avenue. So
yes, ma'am.
I'm interested to hear back what you say. I'm very surprised to know that they've already purchased buildings. So,
Mayor, I would like a second comment, please.
Please, go ahead.
Thank you. To just go along with what the director just expressed, it's been my experience over the past 2 years that sometimes we do have individuals, businessmen, who come into the city with the intention of doing a certain business. And I can recall, just off the top of my head, a pawn shop and a laundromat. Individuals who wanted and purchased a real estate, a piece of property, with the intention of doing something. And it wasn't, there wasn't any communication with the city. And then we get into the situation where we are now, where they approach the city, and we tell them that it's not fitting, it's not within the zoning or any future use. So I would agree with Councilman Shelley that eventually they are going to come before the city, and at that time, unfortunately, we're probably going to have to tell them that it's arts and entertainment, and that's our desire. Now, what's surprising about this scenario is that they're already moving businesses out without having even approached. That's surprising. So I know in the past, the businesses, they found out kind of like midway that their use was not compatible to the intended zoning. But so I'll be interested also to see what the answer is. And once they come in, and unfortunately, our intention is to protect that area. I know that Denise from the bookstore has approached me at the Halloween trunk or treat, and she expressed concern over that as well. And I've said it from the dais many times that I love that downtown area, specifically her bookstore. Not that I have favorites, but the bookstore is one of my favorites, and it's my intention to see that kind of use continue there. Thank you.
I think we need to move forward and be proactive, and Sergio, if you'll take that lead, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, sir. I will, and I will report back to you through the manager's office.
Thank you. Any further questions?
Just one other comment, through the chair, is it too early to get the attorneys involved and let them know through some sort of letter with strong language that is a historic area and we intend to preserve it, or is that too early into the discussion just to show the severity of what could happen down there?
I think once Sergio has a conversation with them and find out what they're doing, you come back to council, and then council could direct a letter be written or a communication could go out once you understand what they're doing.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Any further questions? Sir, thank you. You've brought something to our attention that we'll go to work on immediately.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Councilman. I appreciate your concern.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Good evening, and I congratulate the new mayor and council members and the re-elected council member. Now, I do have a concern regarding...
Sir, would you just state your name and address?
Okay, sure. Jerry Rubin, 465 Southeast 21st Lane, Northgate.
Thank you.
I do have a concern that's been expressed here a couple of times regarding the trash pickup being cut from once a week to once a month. This is going to create a big problem in all of Homestead. We can't get people, even in Northgate, to cooperate on once a month, and once a week, I should say. I know we're going to save approximately $3 million, but I believe we can find the money in other places to supplement that. I know we do have a shortfall in the amount that we're paying for garbage and trash pickup, but I believe it can be found and worked out. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Trent.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I'm Jim Trantham, 2375 Southeast 7th Place. Welcome aboard, and fasten your seatbelts for a bumpy ride. I believe it's going to be a short honeymoon for y'all. You have tremendous budget concerns, and I know just from the committee hall meeting that you're already on task. I can tell by the questions you're asking, and I can tell by the way that you're approaching this new year, and I really appreciate that from all of you. I'd just like to add a couple of things to what's already been said, of course, that we need to really continue to develop what we have in Homestead in a positive way. We do not have at this time a chairman for our education committee, and I would appreciate it, being a member of the education committee, if you would move on this as quickly as possible and make sure we have a new chairman for this committee so that we can continue the good work that's been started already. This is one of the oldest and most well-attended committees of all the committees in Homestead, and I think that you know how important it is to have the relationship that we have with the schools in Homestead, and I really appreciate your looking into this. On your agenda for tonight, we have one opening on our committee, as you know, and I would like to recommend to you Dr. Abdullahi, and a fine educator, and recommend that you accept him on our education committee and just try to put this together as soon as possible. I know you're working on it.
Dr. Trantham, I have handed those assignments out. So they have been handed out, and your new chair of the Education Committee is Councilman Maldonado.
Mayor, thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Jim, thank you for coming up here. I'm glad to see that you're going to be a part of this. It's good to know that you're on my wing.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Zenobia Gibbs. I'm 450 187 Redland Road. I'm also the youth council for Brotherhood of Love, and we put together a Christmas and Thanksgiving dinner, a feast for the kids that's unfortunate, those that don't have anything, those that don't have parents to do things for them, and also the elderly that we're fixing boxes for. We're also asking for donations to help make this possible for the kids. So,
Okay.
and we have our
Could you-
flyers for anyone that
Could
wants
you
to.
leave us some information and leave us some information, and
We have brochures.
I will be more than glad to consider.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Going once?
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. On behalf of the City of Homestead Education Foundation, as the Secretary, which I did send an email to you, sir, and to the new elected City Council members.
Excuse me, could I have your name and address, please?
Sure. Monica Whitaker, 3320 Northeast 13th Circle Drive, Unit 108. We have sent an email via Patty Sullivan, and we're requesting your continued support and assistance with funding and also a location for this foundation, which has the main goal to support and create a positive impact in the education system in our city, which will affect all levels of education, from children to adults, which we are trying to improve and trying to improve in the city. And we ask for your continued support and any possible assistance you can provide to us financially or even with a location for us to continue improving education in the city of Homestead. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Burgess.
Ms. Whitaker, I did call you back last week, and I never heard back from you after receiving your email. But I thought that the city had come to a conclusion that we were going to use some of the clubhouse space over at the baseball stadium for storage and a possible office. Does any of the staff remember that?
Mr. Council, if I may.
Yeah.
Yes. Last year with the previous council that were here, what you have offered, we truly appreciate your support. It was delegated more for our meetings for subcommittees, which were utilized at the time, and also for storage. But right now, what the foundation requires to proceed with the vision that the foundation has is to a permanent office location, which at the stadium, we're not sure exactly of, a specific area or office that is available for, in order to proceed with that vision. But if that's a location, we're thankful. We're not picky.
Right, okay.
We'll take whatever assistance donation the council can give to the community.
Right, I knew we'd had some discussion of it, and I thought it had all been settled, so evidently we still
Yeah.
have some more work to do.
But we're thankful for whatever assistance the council can provide to the foundation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Burgess. Any other questions? Any other comments? This is your time to vent. Thank you again for coming out and venting your concerns. We look forward to working with you on the issues brought forward tonight. So moving along on the agenda, I would like to move on to additions, deletions, deferrals.
Mayor.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Manager.
Mayor, Council, I would like to add the first reading of the public art program to the agenda for tonight, sir.
Okay. Ms. Vice Mayor.
Yes, I think I need a motion for this, but I'd like to, do I need a motion to add something? I'd like to make a motion to add an item to the agenda regarding the city manager.
Sure. Motion.
Okay, so you need a motion to add both the design standards on the public art program and
Can I
Vice
combine
Mayor
them?
Wellman's motion.
Can I just combine them,
Yes.
the two? Okay, Mayor, if that's all right, I'll just combine.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Seconded by Mr. Williams, was it?
Yes, second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Nays?
So you can take the items whenever you like to. If you want to take them now, you can take them now, or you can take them later in the agenda.
No, let's take them now. Let's deal with them now, so it's early on, we got a good crowd. Ms. Wallman, you want to take yours?
Yes, I wrote down a few notes so that I wouldn't forget anything, but it's no secret to anyone that I believe that the manager's conduct has been disrespectful, inappropriate, and in many ways unbecoming of a person in the city manager's office. I would like to move that we have a special call meeting as soon as possible in order to discuss and decide on whether the manager should or should not be terminated. And in the event that we do decide to terminate the manager, a second item should be on the special call agenda to decide upon what to do about an interim manager. So that would be my first motion, and if I get a second on that, Mayor, I'd like to make another motion.
Do we have time certain on that? Did you put a date on that? Monday, Tuesday?
I just said the city work through the city manager, so as far as the date.
I think we need a date.
Can we, before, I know I've got some travel time coming up, so before we do that, could we all maybe look at a couple days? And I don't have both of my calendars right in front
I
of me.
don't have both of mine either.
So can we get a second on the floor?
Second.
Thank you. There's a second. Mr. Williams?
As far as a time certain, if you will allow me to work with the city manager, I'll make it happen as soon as possible, possibly next Monday.
Yeah, generally, the clerk could check people's schedules so you're not talking about an agenda item and come up with a date as soon as possible and everybody would be available.
And I'd like, Mayor, if it'd be all right not to have it in the morning, I'd like to have it in the evening so that people can come when they're off from work.
Okay.
Mayor, I have a comment.
Yes, let's go ahead.
Thank you. I'm a little bit concerned about the timeliness of this special call, and I'm for the special call because I'm all for discussion in the public. Section 502 in the removal of the city manager reads, the manager may be removed by the affirmative vote of no less than 4 council members, but such removal shall not take place within 90 days after any election at which any council member is elected to office. Now, the wisdom in that, obviously, is that we go through a transition period. As a newly elected official in November of 2007, I certainly disagreed with a lot of the policies, the decisions made by the prior city manager. There was absolutely no secret that the newly elected officials disagreed. As a matter of fact, it was a platform that we ran on. But we respected the 90-day period because we understood that there was a lot of institutional knowledge in the city manager and that the city manager would be able to carry us over into the transition period. As you know, the city of Homestead is definitely not a small town and there's a lot of business at hand. And there's a reason why the city manager is intimately involved with the details. He's the CEO, he's the one reporting to the board, and as a matter of fact, I think that there's several items on the table that are pending that are requiring that. So now my first question is, I believe that if we do have a special call, that the city manager, who is still the city manager, Mark Shahada, should be present and available so that he can have an opportunity to come before the council and present his side. So my first question in scheduling the special call is, the city manager is scheduled to return tomorrow back to work from his 2-week administrative leave. 1, is the city manager going to return tomorrow? And 2, are we going to take into consideration that the city manager should be present when the special call takes place? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis.
I think
Vice Mayor?
I would like to have a vote on my motion now, and then, Ms. Lopez, I think your questions might be answered in the second motion that I have.
Okay, we have a motion on the table.
One more point of clarification then.
Yes.
Thank you. Did we have a date certain? Was that question answered?
That is not answered because of the calendars. I will work with the manager, if that's all right, and we'll compare everybody's calendars because we certainly want everyone present.
So through the chair, the item that we're voting on is then just to have the special call meeting, no date certain. Thank you.
Correct. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Roll call?
I think it's unanimous. We have a roll call.
If you like a roll call, roll call?
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lobos?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Waldman?
Yes.
Mayor Bailiff?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. And do you have a second motion, Ms. Wallman?
Yes, in light of the situation, I would like to make a motion that we direct the manager to remain on paid leave until the special call meeting. The date certain will be announced.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call,
I have a comment, Mayor.
please. Go
To
ahead.
enter into the record again, I do not believe that, I believe that the city manager, and you know, and I'm going to be very frank, I was at that meeting, I was at City Hall at 4 o'clock when 2 hours prior to the swearing in, all these decisions were made on 2 weeks administrative leave. I believe that it's in the city's best interest at this point to go outside of personalities, to go outside of oneself, to see what is in the best interest of the city, and to bring the manager back, bring the city manager back as he was scheduled to return tomorrow, and to then go ahead with the special call. I believe that I met with the acting city manager, Captain Chung, last week before the committee of the whole. Just as business continues, business must continue in the city of Homestead, and I did schedule a meeting with him. He sat down with me and as best as he could, reviewed the committee of the whole agenda with me. But I believe that it is the wisest thing to do in the best interest of the city at this point in time to bring Mr. Shahada, who is the city manager, back, who's scheduled to return tomorrow, and then to proceed. I really don't see the advantage other than a personality disagreement. I don't see the advantage of having the city manager be absent from City Hall. It certainly isn't a performance. This by far, and I've defended him, and my vote has not changed. I defended him before the election took place, and I will pull up all of his accomplishments, not only personal accomplishments within the position, but the amount of money that he has saved the city of Homestead. And not only over the last 2 years, but certainly over the number of years that he has been here. Prior to being city manager, he was deputy city manager. And there was definitely input from his role as to how we conducted the city. Like I said, institutional knowledge and in the best interest of the city through this transition period. So I will be voting no.
Thank you, Councilman Lobos. Would you prefer a roll call or just all in favor?
I'm sorry, Mayor, can I make
Sure,
a statement?
I'm sorry, Mr. Williams, go ahead.
It's relating to the city manager and finding, I've got some in my mail that we paid out to the city manager for 400 hours, which was a check that was written for $34,506.12. Now, I, through the city manager, if you don't mind me, Mayor, want to ask why did we pay out 400 hours of paid time that equal $34,506.12. If somebody can answer that for me through the city manager.
Councilman Williams, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor. That paperwork was brought to my attention, and I approved that paperwork for the judge.
And who brought it to your attention?
Director of Human Resources.
Okay. My other follow-up question. In our human resource guide on page 21, it reads, and I don't mean to insult anybody's intelligence by reading this, and you can follow along. It says, accrued vacation leave must be requested in writing by the employee. All requests must be approved by the department director, subject to the operation necessities of the department in which the employee works. Employees are required to take a vacation each year unless special operational circumstance warrants accumulation of such vacation. This annual vacation need not be taken all at once. However, in the event shall vacation accumulate exceed 45 days, which works out to be 360 hours. Why, through the city manager, through the city manager, will we give him 400 hours of paid time? Sounds like he owes us, the city, back 40 of those hours.
Right. From what I understand, Councilman Williams, that because Mr. Shahada was under contract, it was a different issue there.
Okay. All right. May I follow up, Mayor?
Sure, go ahead.
My other concern is, if we as a council are his, per se, lack of a better word, boss, it did not come before us for this time, and who has the authority, even though he is on leave with pay, to even grant such item, in that I believe, in my personal opinion, that the system was circumvented, and that it should not have been done and I'm not blaming you, City Manager, but it rests on those persons in the departments who have been here 25 plus years should have known that. And then he says on this thing that we owe him 664 more hours. And so I'm very concerned about this, and it was not brought to us, and I think that the system has been circumvented, and I think the public needs to know that this is an outrage. I'm not blaming the acting city manager. I'm blaming those who had institutional knowledge of such. And so I would request at this moment that we cease all things that come through that through the HR department for such requests without that is pertaining to the city manager, and that should have been brought to us as a council and mayor. And so if I can add it as a friendly amendment to do that, if that's in order.
Well, I think we have a motion on the table. We need to address the motion, do we not? Are we going to amend the motion to add this?
Yes, I think he's suggesting an amendment.
Do you want to phrase the motion for us, then, Richard?
Well, I think that the Vice Mayor's motion is clear, and I think Councilman Williams is suggesting that in addition to the motion be made, that any personnel or payout items relating to the manager be referred to the council on a going forward basis.
And we need to.
I don't mind that being added.
Okay. Would you prefer a roll call as we did last time, or?
Well, I think we need a second.
We need a second. I thought Mr. Williams was the second.
No, we need a second to his amendment.
Motions to amend. We need a second to amend the original motion.
A second amendment.
Thank you.
And then we need to vote on the amendment and then on the motion as amended.
All in favor of the motion?
The amendment.
And the amendment that we have added to it? Say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Nay. We show one nay and
A
six.
point of clarification, I'm sorry, we are voting on the amendment or the amendment with the motion?
The amendment with the
Just
motion.
the amendment.
The first thing we need to do is vote on the amendment and then the motion as amended.
Okay. We have the first and the second, so we need to vote now on the motion as it stands. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nays?
Nay.
Okay. Now we need to vote on the amendment?
Altogether.
Altogether. The amended motion as a second. All in favor? Aye. Nays?
Nay.
Okay. Records show 6 yeses and 1 no.
Mayor, if I may,
Mr. Williams.
yes, in our manual, which is what we go by, how would we be able to recoup that 40 hours that we've already paid out to him through the mayor for the city manager, or through who your staff is? Well, maybe that question is for the attorney.
I think that the manual needs to be reviewed, and to the extent that there's other funds that we owe the manager, that when a determination is made that this was improperly paid, that it would be deducted from other monies that we owe him.
Okay. Okay, thank you so very much.
Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Yes.
I have a comment. Since something was brought up outside of vote, I will go ahead then and introduce something as well. Since it has been passed, both the amendment and the motion that he is to remain on paid leave until the special call, for purposes of accountability and transparency, I would like for this council to support me and then if we're going to put everything on hold until we have this discussion. I'm very concerned about what has happened over the past 13 days, and Mr. Manager and the attorneys and whomever would like to respond to this. Prior to the swearing in, we had a city manager who took 2 weeks leave of absence. Given. A new administration comes in, I am under any kind of, imaginary anything to think that this council was going to keep the city manager. I actually expected that after the 90-day period that we were going to get rid of him. The new administration comes in, they have a different vision, they want a new city manager, that's fine. Under this acting city manager and Captain Chung, and I've already expressed my concerns, I don't understand how the acting city manager comes in after the city manager who's still the city manager, and then we not only fire individuals, which fine, we can do that, we can let go of certain individuals who don't see our vision, but then immediately hire someone while the city manager is on paid leave. The acting city manager, I mean, it was clear from our committee of the whole that he is an acting city manager, not well versed in too many of the areas that our city manager is. And I would just like, for point of clarification and for my own purposes of confidence, that the procedure, that the charter, that everything that we have set in place in order to make this transition as smooth as possible, to go from one administration to the other, there are certain things that are just not up for compromise. Not up for compromise is the city charter. Not up for compromise is the city code. We just can't simply do away with those things just because we decide to. So for my confidence that the process that the city has in place for the number of years that we have been a city, to allow a smooth transition to happen without the disruption to the foundation upon which we govern here, can you just please, acting city manager, explain to me how not only did we make it's a council manager form of government, how you as the acting city manager did away with the individuals that you did, and then decided for the director of development services to then come on board. Was there, two questions that I want clarified, was there consultation with the city manager to make this decision, or how did you on your own come about to hiring a new development director of services? Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, before the manager answers that, if I could just set forth the legal framework, because I think it'll help in people understanding.
I was going to suggest that, Mr. Weiss. Thank you.
When the city manager took the administrative leave, under the charter, section 504 of the charter, he designates by letter, by memo he did it, a person to serve in his place. And that person is then has the ability to perform the manager's duties in the manager's absence. So the manager took leave, he designated Captain Chong as the city manager, and Captain Chong has, as the designated city manager, then interim city manager, the powers of the manager. Now, that's the legal background. Now I'll turn it over to Captain Chong.
Councilman Malobos, I'd be glad to discuss this matter with you in a private setting. I don't think district is the appropriate venue to discuss this.
Well, Mayor, on a follow-up to that question, the motion that I was going to make and that I was going to ask for purposes of transparency and accountability from this council is that I move that all major decisions, just like we've requested that we not make any other decisions before we have the special call, that before we have the special call, that the acting city manager, that we direct him to not hire or fire any more employees until we have that special call to come to a clarification as to what our vision of this council is for the purpose of transparency and accountability. We've just discussed that there's several issues that we're going to put on hold because we need to study the item. Well, I think the city manager is of major importance, that position. Like I said, I'm under no delusion that we're going to keep the city manager, but I want the process to be respected. And so I believe that along with all the other motions that we have, could we hold off, could we direct? I move that we direct the acting city manager to hold off on all firing and hiring until we have that special call meeting and all issues resolving to the city manager before the 90-day period after an election, whether we decide to keep him or let him go.
Is that a motion?
Yes, I said I move that we...
Okay, so do we have a second for that?
Mayor, I'll second it with discussion.
Okay.
Okay. May I?
Sure, please.
Charter clearly states that this council does not have anything to do with any employee in this city. So I trust Captain Chong to make the right decisions, and we're going to have this meeting very, very quickly. As soon as we can get our calendars together, it will happen, and I promise you it will happen quickly. But that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I think that we put this to a roll call vote, please.
Councilman Shelley?
Just for a point of clarification, I guess, before I vote. So what we're saying is that all decisions made by the city manager are now coming through us as the council. I mean, related to hiring and firing only.
No. What this is doing is a direction from the council that during the interim period, that the manager should not hire or fire employees.
Unless they, I'm sorry.
But no, it wasn't, so at all.
That's it.
Okay. But
That was the, I believe that was the motion.
No, Mayor, if I may clarify.
Sure.
My purpose for saying that this acting city manager, since he's been here now for 12 days or 11 days, I'm not sure how long, or for 13 days, it's been 13 days
25
since the election, since he's been acting city manager, that we, until we have that special call that we just moved to have, that we directed the activity of hiring and firing, hold off until we have that special call, just like we've asked the HR director and the HR department to, I believe the previous amendment was to ask the human resources director to check with the council on any items pertaining to the city manager. I am now requesting that the acting city manager not do any hiring or firing while we have that special, in that period between now and the special call meeting.
Why is he there?
Mayor, may I?
Sure. Yes, Vice Mayor.
I thought it was very clear in Ms. Lobos' motion, and of course, we don't have any way to play it back, but that it's, I thought you said, Ms. Lobos, that any hiring or firing come before the council, and that's why I made that comment about charter. So, did I misunderstand her?
Yes, it was, I'll reword for clarification. I move that the council direct the acting city manager to not hire or fire any employees in the interim period between now and the time that we have the special call meeting.
Any other questions?
Because I think that was the motion. I think we were in the middle of a roll call.
We are. So I was trying to get clarification before I voted, and so now we're back to me again. So the direction is that essentially we are recommending, or we are stating temporarily until the special call takes place, no hiring or firing should take place by the interim city manager.
Micromanage.
Right. That's what the motion is.
I mean, I'll vote. I'll say yes for that. I'll agree to that motion because I do think that that gives us a little bit of stability so we can get a feeling on what's going on.
Councilwoman Lobos?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
No.
Vice Mayor Waldman?
No.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lobos? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll vote yes again.
Sorry. Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
No.
Motion carries.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
And one of the things I'd also like just to, I know we've spoken about it, we need to do this very quickly. I think that in order for us to get on to other business, we have to resolve the city manager issue, whether we're going to keep him, whether we're going to fire him, how we're going to go about doing one or the other. It needs to be resolved and be resolved as soon as possible because we can't move on to other business of this city and the things that these residents need taken care of until we resolve this. So we need to make this a priority and focus on it and have this special call as soon as possible. Thank you.
No, I agree. That's why I pointed out Monday, and I was hoping that we could get some direction tonight because then it actually gives a public notice tonight that 5 days from now we're going to meet and make a decision on this. So I'd like for us to rethink that maybe and decide that Monday or Tuesday is the day that we're going to do it. I don't understand.
Well, if everybody has their calendar, there's certainly nothing wrong with setting a date tonight.
It gives a week notice to the public on TV.
Just give us a moment then to look at our calendars.
Mr. Williams, you're out of town until when?
I'm sorry, I leave,
You're out of town until when?
I leave for the Bahamas on Wednesday. I'll be back Saturday.
No.
Looking at what Mr. Mayor, looking at what I have here, I do have a Mayor's Youth Council meeting that night from 5 to 6, and then after that, with what I have in front of me, I'm available on Monday.
On what day?
On Monday.
Mayor?
Yes.
On Monday, sorry folks, on November 23rd, that is the, I think the Rutland Hotel is doing a meet and greet for all the newly elected officials to get to know the business people. So I don't know if that, let me check.
That date's right here.
Not to diminish the importance of their event, I believe that the city manager issue is a little bit bigger than that, Ms. Wallman.
Well, I completely agree with you, but I just want to make sure we have a quorum here.
Right.
That's the only reason I'm saying that. Tuesday is free for me as well, and I'd be happy to be here on Monday, so.
Monday's fine for me.
Okay, so we've got...
Monday. I'm here on Monday.
We could even do it, how much notice?
What time are we saying?
We're fine. We have, if we do it tonight, the special calls requires a 48-hour notice, but this is a very important item, so the more notice that we can give, the better.
So Monday.
So Monday is the date? Monday is...
Monday the 23rd?
The 23rd, 7 o'clock in this council chambers. Okay?
So the clerk will, I'll work with you on the wording, but there are two parts to the motion Councilman Wallman made, and we need to make sure that we get those correctly in the special call notice.
Okay, thank you. Okay, without further ado, we'll move on to the agenda. Item A, first reading.
Mr. Mayor, we have the presentations, item number 4.
Oh, okay. Item number 4, special presentations, Habitat for Humanity.
Is anybody from Habitat yes, sir. I was looking for Rudd, but I didn't see him, so thank you for coming down. And I have just a quick thing is I met a representative from Habitat for Humanity at the Mayor's Youth Council Get Hype event several months ago, and they were telling me about a great project that they're going to do just outside of the city limits there, and that they're looking for families down this way. So I invited them to come down to let us know what they're going to do in the area, and also so that the local families would have the ability to apply to this if they so qualify. So thank you for coming down tonight. And
thank you, Councilman Burgess, for this opportunity. Greetings, Mr. Mayor, Ms. Vice Mayor, all members of the council, city employees, and great residents of the city of Homestead. My name is Mackenzie Moore. I'm the Church Relations Officer with Habitat for Humanity of Greater Miami. We're an organization that has been in existence now for 20 years in this community, and I like to say that we are Greater Miami's greatest kept secret. We have built more than 700 homes in 20 years. And in this day and time when many house developers are going in the opposite direction and seeking new avenues to make money, we're going against the grain. We are, in fact, acquiring more land and building more. And we are excited about a project that, as the councilman said, is right outside the city limits in Leisure City, a development called Strader's Haven. It sits just south and west of Modelo Park. There are 22 lots there where we're building homes in partnership with low-income families. At present, 10 families have been selected, so there's still an opportunity for 12 more worthy families to seek this opportunity. And I say that it's an opportunity for low-income families that is different from what anyone else does. I'm not going to take it for granted that you all know what Habitat for Humanity is all about. We build homes that at cost and sell them to these homeowners at cost, and they will receive, they will be paying us a mortgage on these homes, but at zero interest. Because that is because as a Christian organization, we operate under biblical financial principles. So in Exodus 22 and verse 25, it says, when you lend money to the poor, you don't place heavy burdens on them, you charge them no interest. So we don't. and never will, never have and never will. It costs approximately $100,000 to build a home. They have a long term to pay, and we guarantee them at the time they sign their letter of intent to come into partnership with us that their mortgage payments will be 30% of their income at the time of their closing, and will at zero interest. That is, they're fixed at zero. Those prices will never go up. So we invite all of you into partnership with us as well. I'm looking into this crowd. I see a lot of you that are able, look like able construction workers to me. You laugh, but if you'll allow, I want to do an exercise with everyone in here. Is that allowed?
Sure, sure.
I want everyone to raise your right hand in the air. Raise it up high. Now, while you have your hand in the air, I want you to squeeze your fist tight. And while you have your fist squeezed tight, swing your arm like this. And you just proved two things. First of all, you have the physical dexterity to swing a hammer, and number two, that you can follow directions. If you can do that, you can help us build homes and provide opportunity for worthy families. Thank you, Councilor Resident.
Mr. Moore, could you just give a brief, a real quick thing of where families or people can go and apply? I know you guys are coming down here, I think it's on Saturdays, and accepting applications, or have they stopped that?
Well, right now our application meetings are suspended. We typically hold them on the last Saturday of every month because that falls on Thanksgiving weekend and on Christmas weekend for November and December. We won't have another one until January. However, our applications for home ownership are available on our website, which is www.miamihabitat.org.
Thank you. And then one last comment I would like to challenge. I saw most of the council. I couldn't see everybody with the chairs. They looked like they had the motion down, so I would like to challenge everybody here that possibly we could go out and give a couple hours to help this great cause. Let us know where we need to sign up.
That would be greatly appreciated. All 22 homes will be built by the end of April. We're expecting more than 3,000 volunteers. We have our Blitz build the first 2 weeks of February. We will finish 10 of those homes in 2 weeks. After that, we have our Collegiate Challenge, where we have so far 740 college students who are choosing to come and build homes on their spring break. So, and I invite you all to come out and join us in that effort.
I just wanted to say count me in on that one.
Okay. He said count him in. Elvis,
I'll be looking for you.
Thank you, sir. And
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I think we moved back to the first reading that I originally, somehow Richard and I got off course here, but it is first reading, ordinance for art in public places.
So the ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 32 Design Standards to establish Article 5 Public Art Program, providing for inclusion in the code, conflicts, and an effective date.
I'll move.
So moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me.
Roll call.
Do you want to have a presentation about it, or you're fine with it, just the way it is?
Please, applicant, come forward.
No, it's just
This is staff.
Staff?
We also do have an expert in the house if there's any questions. A gentleman from Palmetto Bay, Jeffrey Nunez, that has helped me walk this through.
If you're ready,
Go ahead.
That's you?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, members of the City Council, the general intent of the proposed ordinance is really to set in place a mechanism for the funding, the acquisition, the placement, and maintenance of public art within the city limits, with the main purpose of enhancing the aesthetic character of the community and stimulate a local environment which reflects the local government's diversity, heritage, and character. That's in essence what we're pursuing here. Now, I'm going to go very briefly through the different sections of the ordinance so that you become familiar with the different elements that we looked at when we developed it. We provided, obviously, like every ordinance has, for intent and purpose. I covered some of that with the introduction. There's a section on definitions. In that section, our attorneys try to cover every potential keyword that might come up through the process of processing applications for potential art, whether it's sculpture at a location or et cetera. Any kind of jargon, they always try to look it up and find the meaning when it comes to the municipal setting. It also provides for the creation of a public art committee. It outlines clearly what committees should be made out of. It states that it should be made out of 7 members. That defines what those backgrounds of those members should be to be more effective in the work of selecting artwork and making recommendations to you, who ultimately is going to make the final decision as a council as to location and the type of artwork that's going to be permitted. Of course, it also outlines the powers and duties of this committee, and it sets forth the need for a master plan and the implementation guidelines within that master plan. In other words, staff will work on the master plan that we'll be bringing before you. The master plan will have a side set of guidelines that will help put it in place, or the tools that will make it a real document. Make it a reality, I should say. Obviously, it also addresses issues of conflict of interest. That pretty much says that whenever, if you have conflict with any of the committee members have an issue that may come before them that where it's somebody that they know or something like that, they will have to recuse themselves from the process, and so that business can be carried over. It also covers the application procedures for placement of art on private property and donation of art to the city. I'm going very briefly through this in the interest of time. If at a later time, when I'm done, you have any questions, feel free to ask. In terms of the applicability, this is something that, and I'm on page 7, I understand that I read the workshop minutes, the workshop that took place back on, I believe it was October 13th. And at that workshop, one of the main topics of discussion was the thresholds. As the discussion, surrounded as the number, what would be the best number to apply, whether it was 200, from $250,000 and up to 500. The question at one point throughout the discussion came up to bring it up to 750, and it ended up receiving staff. The result was that the committee gave direction to staff to apply, in the cases of commercial development, all those commercial developments that exceed $750,000, we would apply that 1% fee, which we will, and all the sections of the proposed ordinance address how you're going to create those accounts, escrow accounts, where this money is going to be placed, so that later you can use it for the purpose as intended. The other threshold was directed towards residential type developments, and basically says projects exceeding $500,000. Once the project exceeded that amount, the fees will kick in. Having said that, in no event the fees will surpass, whether commercial or residential, the sum of $500,000. So in no event, that would be the most that any given developer will pay. And then it goes into the building permits, the building permit processes. There are options to, allow the art in lieu of a public fee. In other words, that allow the applicant or the developer to actually come in with his own art, which will be approved by you prior to installation. It covers certificate of occupancies and such. It defines what the creation or calls for the creation of a public art fund to handle. In other words, we'll create this account in finance where all these monies are going to go into, and we'll have only that sole purpose of being used for the art in public places. Let me see. That's pretty much, the other sections address the donations, ownership of the art, responsibility, maintenance, and things as such. Whether or not governmental building can have art exposed and what the requirements will be. And that's pretty much it. I just went through it very briefly. If you have any particular questions about them, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, members of the council. My name is Zephyr Nunez. I'm the city planner for the village of Palmetto Bay. Previously, one of the senior planning deputies for the city of Los Angeles, where we imported this art and public places ordinance into the village of Palmetto Bay. We've been working with Councilmember Burgess to implement this program in the city of Homestead we've been working with roughly around 12 months now to bring this into place. In general, Mr. Sergio pretty much summarized the ordinance. The way the ordinance works is, well, at least in Palmetto Bay, I haven't seen the revisions that were done based on the last comments by the previous council. In general, Palmetto Bay has adopted this ordinance roughly around a year and a half ago. Since then, we've collected over $200,000 for the acquisition of public art to be installed in the public realm. This is money that is not part of taxpayers, but it's actually an investment in the community. We have new sculptures at the library, at our parks. This ordinance has also evolved in terms of we're working now with the Consul General of Germany, the Consulate of Mexico. They've donated some pieces, they've lent some pieces in our village hall. And we're working to create, an artistic community. As I've heard from other members in the community, that a city with art is a city that lives and thinks. And I think it's important for the city of Homestead to incorporate this ordinance. It's not new. Some of the great cities in the world have been implementing public art since the beginning of time: Rome, Madrid, London. So it's time, I guess, for us to catch up. And most importantly, lots of the great cities in the United States, New York, Beverly Hills, Laguna Niguel, some of the great cities that we like to think of as great cities in the United States have this public art program. And that's what we're here for, and we're hoping that this council will consider adopting this ordinance. Currently, Palmetto Bay has a 1% on the total construction cost of commercial development, $250,000 and above, and on residential single-family homes, $750,000 and above, and residential of 2 units or more, which is pretty much for commercial purposes. We're a smaller community. Homestead's obviously a much bigger community. We're only 9 square miles, only 26,000 residents. So I think if we were able to work something out, I think it would be a great opportunity for Homestead to thrive and grow as a community and bring some of that culture and art into for our constituents to enjoy and not have to go to downtown Miami to look at something. So if you have any other questions, I'll be more than happy to address any of those.
From council? Questions? Okay, I think we've had the motions passed, seconded. It's all in favor, right? It's passed.
So it's an ordinance we need to vote on by roll call.
Councilwoman Lobos?
Yes.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Waldman?
Yes.
Councilman Burgess?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And Mr. Mayor, because this is a land development regulation, it's going to have to go to P&Z before it comes back to you on second reading.
Okay, thank you. Let's go back to special presentations. Defiant Students Artwork presentation by Director Adrian Lopez. I know that guy, Adrian Lopez. Come on down. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing very well, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to extend congratulations to the mayor and new council. I wish you much luck and success. You have a lot of work ahead of you, so I wish you much luck. And also, I'd like to thank the City of Homestead for allowing the opportunity for Defy to display this artwork that you see around this this council chamber. So Be Sober is a social awareness campaign focusing on the dangers of underage drinking and underage binge drinking in our community. The campaign was created in 2005 by Defy, better known as Drug Free Youth in Town, to bring attention to the growing consumption of alcohol by minors. I just want to give a few sobering facts, as I will say, about how So Be Sober was created. A total estimated cost of underage drinking in the state of Florida in 2007 was over $3 billion. That cost each resident in this state $165 annually. On average in South Florida, this is Dade and Broward County, 17% of middle school students and 38% of high school students surveyed drank alcohol in the past 30 days, of which respectively 5.6% and nearly 20% of students surveyed binge drank. Binge drinking is defined as having 5 or more alcoholic drinks in one setting. 70% of all traffic fatalities involving persons ages 16 to 24 was alcohol related. I share these facts because it's a good segue into this art exhibit. Students in Miami-Dade County and Broward County middle and senior high schools are asked to submit artwork as part of a contest that we have annually reflecting their vision on the dangers and consequences of underage drinking. This collection that you see around you speaks to us of their view of the drinker's world. Each year, the winner has his or her artwork displayed on roadside banners throughout Miami-Dade County and Broward County. With so many youth submitted entries to help combat this major concern, the FIDE and the So Be Sober campaign has started this traveling art exhibit, and this exhibit was displayed last month, and this exhibit will be displayed throughout the month of November. And Defied and So Be Sober is proud to bring it to the city of Homestead. If anybody would like to have more information about the So Be Sober campaign or about Drug Free Youth in Town, you can please visit us on the web at www.defyit.org, or you can visit us at www.sobesober.org. Once again, Defied and the So Be Sober campaign is honored to have the opportunity to display this artwork to the citizens of Homestead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Any questions for Mr. Lopez? Questions? Thank you very much.
On a side note, I am on the Education Committee as well, and I look forward to working with Councilman Maldonado on the Education Committee. So, thank you very much.
Thank you,
and thank you very much, everybody. Also, I'll leave with Ms. Shedd our annual report and more information about the So Be Sober campaign.
Thank you, sir. Okay, consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion for approval. Consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second. All in favor?
May I? I'd like to.
Ask if somebody has any items to remove.
Yeah, I'd like to pull item E, tree trimming and lines clearing service, tab 5.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and take a motion to approve the remainder of the agenda.
Motion to approve the remainder of the agenda. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, pull item E. Want to discuss that, Mr. Williams?
Yes, very quickly. Just through Mayor and through the city manager, I raised some other questions at the COW But I would like to raise another one. I know in this is a non, I guess, bidding piece that we have. I got a quick question on how we choose this. I know, is there a list of companies that we choose from, or I know they've been working for the city or doing work since '92, but is there a list or category that we use to determine how they get these contracts?
Councilman Williams, I will defer the question to Jerry. Can you answer this?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Yes, we basically sent requests for proposals to all our registered vendors. From memory, if I remember correctly, regarding this particular bid, it was sent out to over 800 vendors. From those, all the ones that went ahead and applied went through the bid process.
Okay, what I'd like to have through the city manager, if possible, a process by which you categorize these persons who have done work, or what your your recommendation is, but in a more detailed report for my consideration. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You want to table this? I'm sorry?
Did you want to move the item, or?
Yeah, we can move it, yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to...
Motion to move item the E, tree trimming.
I'll make the motion to move the tree trimming.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. Okay, item 4, public hearing, ordinance land use items.
Please be advised that the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment on any of these items, please indicate the item number you'd like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff have made their presentations on each item. All testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish either to be cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the council to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. The full agenda packet on each item is hereby entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. In accordance with Code Section 2591, any lobbyist must register before addressing the council on any of the following items. At this time, council members must disclose any ex parte communications on the item on the agenda. At this time, the clerk will swear in any persons who wish to testify on the quasi-judicial item.
Please stand and raise your right hand. I state your name. Hereby swear or affirm that the information I present shall be the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you.
Tab 9, item A, is a final order of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting a certificate of use to allow the operation of a restaurant with on-premises sale and consumption of beer and wine located at 702 Chrome Avenue, further granting a waiver of the location requirements for the on-premises sale and consumption of beer and wine as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
Second. Staff report?
Mr. Mayor, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, just to give you a brief history on this subject. Again, the property is located at 702 North Chrome Avenue. It's been there for 14 years, 14 plus years. The application was before the City Council meeting in September. At this meeting, there were representatives of the church, which is nearby. It's across the street from this location. and they were in opposition, and as a result, the item was tabled. What the council at the time requested the applicant and the opposing party was to get together and work out the differences and then come back to you and report. And so they did. I have a letter in the packet. It's on the third page down from my cover memo to you, stating, addressed to me from Mr. Aguirre, the owner of the property, that he did meet with the church. They actually have a very good relationship. It is just, as he explained it, that the church's position historically, and it goes back to what they believe, that you know, they simply don't agree with the sale of alcohol, and it's what they preach, and they stand by it basically, and we all respect that. On the other hand, there are a number of other similar places of business, restaurants, that have that ability to sell beer and wine with the consumption of food on premises. In the case of the Quebradita restaurant, we have, again, a restaurant that has been in business in the community for 14 years. Their hours of operation are actually much less than what the code restricts, and they will keep them that way. They just want to add this amenity, if you will, to the experience of having lunch or dinner at the restaurant. As part of the dining experience. Not, this is not that you're going to go there, you're going to have a bar and drink. This is just as part of the, the dining experience, as I said. So, at this point, staff is recommending approval. I should mention that, as a matter of that history, the Development Review Committee reviewed this application and recommended it for approval. That review was done back in August, and then later on, the Planning and Zoning Board voted to recommend approval of the certificate of use and the waiver of the location. Again, as a matter of history, we're hereby, as your staff, recommending that you approve such application. Should you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
I'd like to ask for the applicant. Is the applicant here?
Yes, they are.
Okay, would you come forward, please?
Good evening once again. My name is Efren Nunez, 16062 Southwest 287th Street. I'm here assisting Mr. Aguirre, close friend, member of our same church. Mr. Aguirre is here again asking for a waiver of distance requirements for the allowance of sale of beer and wine in conjunction with a full-service restaurant. As the staff report shows, there are several restaurants in the immediate area, Mamma Mia, I believe the White Lion or White Elephant, the White Lion, other restaurants directly to the south of the establishment, on the opposite side of the church directly to the south, the gas station. There are various amounts of restaurants that are selling beer and wine, and there's packaged liquor stores in the immediate area. What we're trying to do is we're trying to remain competitive in the area. We're happy to see that there is an increase in restaurants in the area. It brings a new array of palates for our constituents to enjoy different restaurants. But it's quite unfortunate for La Quebradita to not be able to sell beer and wine just as its neighboring restaurants are. And what we're trying to do here is we're requesting permission to sell beer and wine in conjunction with a full-service restaurant.
Okay, questions from council?
Yes, I'd like to just put my comments on the record of why I'm voting no. There are 136 residents in that area that did a petition, and so I'm very concerned about. And as I look back through this, in some of the report that I guess was recommended, some of the items on page 3 of 8, which they submitted, that says the proposed use will not endanger the health, safety, or welfare of the residents of Homestead. That's kind of be a little misconstrued it. So that I will be voting no, and that will be my reasons why.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes, Vice Mayor.
I have really struggled with this because I love your food. I do love your food, and but there's a precedence here, and the precedence is that we have a church, not only a church, but a school right next door. I've struggled with the fact that, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the White Lion doesn't have anything to do with it because it's several blocks away, many more feet than is required not to be associated. But Mamma Mia, it's 230 feet from the church, but it's over 600 feet from the school. And I have more concern for the children because you're in operation every single day. I believe your hours are from 9 or 10 until 9 at night. And it's bad enough with that convenience store who's grandfathered in, and I don't think there's anything we can do about it, that people can just walk in and out, and we never asked for a police record on that convenience store. But I can tell you that I'm sure it's quite high. So for that reason, because we do have rules, and those are what the rules are, I have to vote no. Again, I believe you're close to between 250 and 300 feet from the school itself, and then you're very close to the church. So I know you've been in business for 14 years, and when you purchased that property, correct? You knew the church was there, correct? I mean, no one sold it to you without you seeing it.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's really all I have to say. Thank you.
Mayor, I would like to comment.
Yes, Ms. Lobos, go ahead.
Thank you. I look at what I've done in the past and how I have voted in all these waivers of beer and wine to different restaurants, and I know that there's, especially I've expressed before that in the past, especially in the southwest area, there's certain areas that I would love to just limit this kind of activity because of the perceived just traffic that it brings through, especially for like liquor stores and convenience stores. But in this case with La Quebradita, I see too, and I'm familiar with the location, I see that you guys have a fence around the restaurant too, so it kind of buffers the traffic that goes in and out of the restaurant. Plus you have some hedges too, almost to the point where the restaurant's traffic is limited just into your parking area and the restaurant. In the past, I have voted yes. I've never voted no to restrict any business that does not have any clear indication that has caused any public safety concerns. I have voted to support their ability to stay competitive with other businesses. And so I've looked at this issue. I know that we had the petition, and that's why we had tabled that item, because we wanted to see if the two groups could work it out prior to us becoming involved. And I understand the church's position. But like I said, in the past, I've never voted to restrict without any good cause any business to be able to compete, and so tonight I'll be voting yes.
Could I ask a question? Previously, I used to deal with conditional use beverage permits in Los Angeles, and I think Judy has a valid point. The way Los Angeles does, liquor permits come for review every 12 months. And should the applicant violate, they restrict your hours of operation. They tell you what days you can sell, what days you can't sell. I think it would be, the applicant will be willing to have a approved liquor permit for a period of 12 months. Should any issues arise, the applicant is willing to have council put additional conditions, limit his hours of operation, but we ask that council give us the opportunity to show that we are a good business in the community and that we're willing to comply with all rules and regulations. And we have been here for the past 14 years. I mean, we didn't open up last night. The economic needs have changed, and we feel that we need to adapt our business plan to remain competitive. And if that's an option that the council is willing to consider, where we can have a conditional use approval for a period of 12 months, and should any issues arise, the police department is more than welcome to put additional conditions or limit of hours of operation. And it works very well in Los Angeles. That was usually my previous job, is conditional use beverage permits. And I'm here to speak on behalf of Mr. Aguirre because, like I said, he's a close friend of the family. He's a member of our church, and he's an active member of Emmaus at San Martin de Porres. And we're just asking to give us the opportunity, even if it's for a period of 12 months, to be able to exercise.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Mr. Mullen.
Thank you. I was thinking about that as well, in terms of conditions. Is there a condition on maybe the amount I think the concern is that we're going to have people drinking too much and getting drunk and causing danger to the school or anything, I think is the concern. And so I'm wondering if we could limit to how many drinks the patrons would be able to receive. I'm just putting this out there as a compromise, and so that we can assure that we're not going to have anyone that's drunk on the premises.
Mr. Mayor also.
Thank you.
Yes, Councilman Burgess.
Another condition that I would like to see, just for him to think about, is perhaps we could delay the time where they serve alcohol on Sundays till 2 p.m. or something reasonable. I'm not sure what the hours of worship are over there, but something where the majority of people aren't there on Sundays, where they're done with most of their worship service and stuff like that, instead of, I think it's 10 a.m. that they're allowed to start, or whatever the hour is in the ordinance now. If we could get some sort of delay, I think that would be beneficial also.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, neighbors of the church. Thank you, employees and family, to come and give us your support tonight. Very, very important for many families that actually live out of this small business, including myself and my family, to have this opportunity to improve my business. As you realize, I'm in that particular location 14 years. I never been a problem to any neighbor, any of the customers. You can see my record speak by itself, the health department, police department, no whatsoever, any problems. And myself and my family, we very Catholics, part of the Emmaus group. So I appreciate, I understand the members of the church concerned, but more I can see, as we had together in this couple of weeks ago meeting, we view the whole 14 years and the relationship, and nothing wrong. As a matter of fact, they have visited my place recently, and they give us compliments about our food, service, and environment. And but again, I understand their principles. You know, simply churches will never support drugs, alcohol, things like that. But I want to remind everybody that I'm not pursuing a full liquor license, and I don't intend to make myself rich out of liquor. What I'm is in trouble. I'm the businessman in problems right now because my sales have dropped about 40% the last 2 years. And I realized the reason being is, first of all, the economic crisis that we all know, we're all suffering. And second, the growing and expanding of Homestead brought a lot of other restaurants. The competition is huge now. My customers, they have different options. Why they have to settle for something they don't agree? And responding to that concern about the possibilities of people drinking or over drinking, I can tell you no. Definitely no. Why? Because if I'm the owner, I have the privilege to put my own policies. And the policy would be not to serve more than 2 beers for a meal. If they want to drink, there's a bar a couple of blocks down that they can go ahead. And my schedule is only to 9 p.m. So how could I hurt anyone? It's just that I want to be competitive with my competition. That's all I need. And salvage the jobs for these people that they've been loyal to me for many years. And they are afraid because with what I'm doing right now, I'm hardly meeting my overhead. My real estate taxes went from $3,000 to $13,000. And it's impossible to maintain it, in Homestead area, a property with that kind of expenses. Utilities and wages, everything went up. The only thing I can do as a good businessman is just trying to be competitive with the others in order to hopefully survive with my business. So it's in your hands, please, and I ask you, in the name of my family and my employees, give us that opportunity, even that has to be, limited. And you'll see, maybe in 1 year, you might feel more comfortable that nothing happened. Everything's going to be okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Vice Mayor Wallman?
Yes. I just want to say, Mr. Gary, you are a very honorable person. And for you to take the stand that you took tonight and be willing to do it on a limited basis by just observing as to what effect it would have on the community, you changed my vote tonight. You changed my vote tonight because you have to be able to work together. And for you to say 2 to 3 drinks per customer and that's it or whatever, you are the boss and it's all on your shoulders. It's all on your shoulders. And I just ask that you be mindful of the children next door, and I know you always are, so I don't need to say that to you. But I just ask that you be mindful of the church and continue to be good neighbors.
Thank you, Ms. Wallman. Is there any further comment in favor of before we go to? Is there any comments not in favor of from the audience? Anyone opposing this that would like to speak? Okay. Do I have a motion?
Yes, you had a motion by Councilman Burgess.
We're going to modify, we're going to put some restrictions or hours of operation.
Somebody would need to make a motion to do that.
The only motion I would like to make, Mr. Mayor, if I could, would be that on Sundays, perhaps it's 1 o'clock before they start serving, so that the morning worships are, the majority of the morning worships are in or out by 1 o'clock, I would believe.
Just to respect those worships.
Well, Mayor, I'd like to amend that motion by saying that there would be a review by the police department, maybe in, like we say, in 12 months, just to review it, because I think that's what we had agreed to.
Correct.
So, if you don't mind, Mayor, that would be my suggestion.
Okay, so we have a motion of operation on Sundays to not start serving alcohol until after 1 o'clock.
Mayor?
Yes.
I do know that it is part of in our packet already about the police and how many times they've already been out to that location. So it is part of our packet of how many reports, what kind of reports that they were, and so I know that I counted 38 or 39, but I think that the actual calls were like 23, and that's been back up to 2008 to August as of yet. I don't know what it is from August to now, but it's part of our package.
Yeah, that could be alarm.
Vice Mayor, if I might clarify my... I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor.
That's okay. Yes, yes, Vice Mayor.
Okay. I read that same police report, and a lot of those were burglar alarms and different things, and no record at all if everything being recorded. I'm more interested to see what you would be doing with alcohol being served in your restaurant for a year. So I just want to clarify that was what I meant.
Richard, before I even entertain closing the public hearing, we need to clarify the motion?
Okay, there's been a motion to amend the approval to add 2 conditions. One is that sales would not be conducted on Sunday until after 1 in the afternoon, and that the permit would be reviewed after 1 year by the council, by the staff, and then to the council in terms of violations and other concerns that may have arisen during the year. So that's the motion by Councilman Burgess with the addition by the Vice Mayor. Needs a second.
Second?
I'll second that.
Okay, seconded by Councilman Burgess.
So we need now to vote on the...
So I'm going to close the public hearing at this time.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I don't think we asked if any other members of the public wanted.
I did. I asked.
Great.
Before. Close the public hearing at this time. Final council comments. Any final council comments?
I just want to thank the applicant for their concessions tonight and
Yes,
their
ditto.
and their willingness to work with us.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call vote.
Councilman Burgess,
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado,
Yes.
Councilman Shelley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lobos,
Yes.
Councilman Williams,
No.
Vice Mayor Waldman,
Yes.
Mayor Bateman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, item 5, legislative matters. Okay.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of Homestead, Florida, partially releasing that certain utility easement dated August 15, 1994, recorded in official records book at 16502 at page 3270 of the public records of Miami-Dade County, Florida, providing for an effective date. This is a public hearing.
I'll entertain a motion to move.
I'll move. I'll
Second.
second it.
Okay, motion we have. Mr. Burgess, second by Vice Mayor. Questions, comments from the council?
This is a little bit complicated. You may want to ask staff to sort of
Okay, with staff. Please.
Mr. Mayor, Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, this is really more of a request to clean up the title, so to speak. Back in 1994, the city created these easements, which sprung off the, and there are a couple of maps there that you can use as a visual aid. There were exhibits in your packet. The Park of Commerce that sprung, this easement sprung off the Park of Commerce Boulevard. At one point in time, back in the early 90s, the city anticipated that general area was going to develop, following a certain pattern. And so we defined those cul-de-sacs, and in some instances we even built infrastructure in them. What has happened over time, though, is that parcels are being sold off, and the Park of Commerce has been broken up in a fashion that does not necessarily coincide with the location or arrangement of those cul-de-sacs. And to avoid any future discrepancies in title, to clean up the title history, this would be the best measure. As I said, there are a couple of these cul-de-sacs that have current water sewer lines. Those will be capped by the city. If it makes sense for a future developer to take advantage of those, all they have to do is reconnect to our Public Works Department and be on business. But we did not want to continue having that disarray of discrepancy between what we had initially anticipated that general areas developing as, and then what we have today. So it's really mainly a cleanup act on our part, so that we can continue the development and have more of a freer, more options to subdivide the remaining parcels of the park. It's a cure to something that was done before, and we need to clean it up.
Questions, comments?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I just have a question maybe for the city attorney. I read through the agreement here on the back. It says here that essentially we have recourse if for some reason the plans change again, because it's a fluid situation. So maybe it gets sold, changes again. We need those easements back again. Is the language in here that's there to say that they are going to give us the easements back without any kind of eminent domain or any kind of payment? Or
I'm going to take this opportunity to introduce to you another lawyer in our firm, Gail Soretta James. If you could give Gail the seat. Gail's worked on the Park of Commerce real estate matters for I don't know how many years.
Too many years.
So I'll let her answer that question.
Well, the reality is that if anyone wants utility service to their property and there is no existing easement, they're going to have to grant, I'm sorry. if a property owner desires utility service to their property and there is no current easement, they would need to grant a new easement. The reality is we're not releasing all of the easement. Most of the lines go in the right-of-way, and those easements are remaining. In addition, a number of the parcels in the park are in the platting process, and the properties that are being platted will all contain a 10-foot utility easement along the rights-of-way.
The road, yeah.
Any further questions from council? At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing to the audience, to the public. Any questions from the public? If so, please take the podium. No questions from the public. I'd like to close the public hearing. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nays? Carries. Motion carries. I'd like to public comments, item 6, moving along here. We did that, so I'll move that up. Business from the city manager?
No business.
Sorry?
Let me see, do I have anything else?
It's gone. It's gone. That's okay. Report from mayor and council. Councilman Burgess.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, I'd like to announce that the Mayor's Youth Council will be doing their second annual food drive to benefit the Homestead Soup Kitchen. At this present time, we are planning on putting out our collection sites on November the 30th, and we'll be collecting through Thursday, December the 2nd. We're looking for anybody that would like to donate a space at their business or at a school or anything like that for a collection. Feel free to contact us here at City Hall. You can contact Patty Sullivan at 305-224-4447, and we would be glad to bring some boxes out there, and we certainly would appreciate it. Last year we raised 4,000 pounds and about $1,150, so we're looking to outdo that this year. The soup kitchen is a great thing, and like we said last year, everybody remembers food for the families at Thanksgiving, but at Christmas time the kids all end up with toys and not food, so that's why we chose to do it for the Christmas time. And any help that anybody can give us, either with checks or food, we certainly do appreciate it. They prefer the gallon-sized cans, as it makes it much easier for their storage and moving around from storage building to storage building. So that's what we'll be doing with the Mayor's Youth Council, and if anybody would like to help us, we certainly would appreciate any and all help. I attended the Veterans Day Parade last week, and it was a great day. An event went off without any hitches, and I think it just showed the spirit of the community and that we're not going to quit on anything, and we're going to show our appreciation and support for all the veterans that have served and helped this country get to what it is. So thank you to the organizers and to everybody that came out and supported it that day. A great big thanks to Colonel McCulley, Brigadier General Binger. What a great show they put on for all of South Florida and bigger region than that, even at the air show. So kudos to those guys. I know that they're looking forward to next year already. They're getting ready to go out to Las Vegas here in about 2 weeks, and hopefully they're going to come home with the Blue Angels as next year's act. So great show. Hopefully a great tradition has been started here in the surrounding Homestead area that we should all be proud of. And one last thing, I just want to compliment Miss Sally Woods on 35 years of dedication to the city of Homestead. She just had that a couple weeks ago, so thank you. 35 hard years here for the city of Homestead. Thank you. And that's all, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Burgess. Councilwoman Lobos.
Thank you, Mayor. The first thing I'd like to announce is, as he has done for the past 7 years, Congressman Mario Diaz-Balard's office will continue to offer services once a month here in the City Hall. For the past 2 years, their staff members have come down to my office, and with the consent of my office mate, Councilman Burgess, they will continue to do so. The next time that they will offer the service is on November 18th from 9 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon. Thank you. And I also would like to, I do see that the assignment for the committees we're giving at the beginning of the meeting, and I had an opportunity to glance through. So I want to take this opportunity right now to thank the following committees and members, because the last 2 years have been phenomenal in the work that we've been able to accomplish through the committees. For the charter review, obviously to the attorneys, the city attorneys, thank you so much. That was, the information that was provided was phenomenal, and it allowed us to do the decisions that we needed to make. As a Main Street liaison, I would like to thank all of the entities and the Chamber of Commerce especially for inviting me to their chamber business meetings every Wednesday afternoon, which I was able to then go down there and with the CRA staff kind of relay between the city and the Chamber of Commerce what was happening on Main Street, and so I really appreciate that. Plus, as a Main Street liaison, I was able to travel to that conference for Main Street, which I've learned tremendously about the elected newly elected officials pension board. I had 100% attendance, and can I tell you, I know Ms. Hesse, you were there at the last meeting, and I've learned quite a bit from that. I was able to provide input, keep updates on the stock market, and I see now that I've been assigned a fire pension board liaison, so whatever knowledge of structure of pension boards that I learned there, I'm sure I'll be able to easily transition to the fire pension board. The city code, Ms. Kamali, who's no longer here, and but in your office, everyone in your office was so helpful in all the meetings that needed to take place and informing me of any city code updates of changes that needed to be made. And the Finance and Enterprise Funds Committee, I want to thank Stan Smith, the Director of Finance, Jerry Estrada, Julio Brea, Barbara Quinones. All of you were just phenomenal to work with. Your professionalism is just beyond, it exceeded my expectations. And so the information that you were able to provide for us to be effective in the committees, both finance level and at the enterprise funds level, I really do appreciate. The next item that I wanted to bring up, and by the way, I didn't have an opportunity to congratulate Mr. Sorinos. I didn't stay till the end of the workshop because I had to go pick up my son from football. So you described your position as being where the movers and the shakers and the gateways of the city is, and so I wanted to congratulate you. I appreciate how knowledgeable you were tonight. Caught up to speak quite a bit, and I appreciate that you have some things of substance to present tonight on each one of the items, so I appreciate that from you. Lastly, I did want to speak to a personal item for me. For the past 13 days, I have received and been overwhelmed with the number of emails and phone calls, not only of encouragement, but also of concern, because there was a rumor that was started the night of the swearing in that I was somehow resigning or in the process of resigning. And so I don't know how that got started, but I want to assure you and thank you, one, for your encouragement. It's nice to know that I have that support and encouragement, but also to let you know that I have absolutely and have never even crossed my mind to have resigned from this position. I have a 4-year term. I have 2 years remaining in my term, and when I look at the task ahead, I see back to history. And I remember back when Vice Mayor Lossner and Councilwoman Bell at that time, they were in the minority and they were able to work through their position very efficiently and effectively. And for the past 2 years, Councilwoman Waldman, who now is the Vice Mayor Waldman, worked effectively as well with the group that she came in, wasn't there, and she worked with the administration for the past 2 years. So certainly, history shows that it can be done, and even though I'm a lot younger, I'm ready for the task ahead. So for the next 2 years, I look forward to making the most of my 4-year term. In no means, again, absolutely no intention of resigning, and I look forward to making the most of it, like I said. And on that note, I do want to bring up a business that is a carryover from the last council to this council. I do want to thank Captain Randy Chung, who is now the acting city manager. Like I stated, I meet every, before the committee of the whole and before every council meeting, I do meet with the city manager, because any questions that I may have, any concerns I bring up at that time. And just like I had before, I was able to continue doing that. And with the acting city manager, he made himself available to me, just as all the staff. You know, in order to do this job, you need the tools that are provided by not only the city manager, but by city staff as well. And so in order to continue to do that job, I will continue to reach out not only to the city manager, but to staff as well, so that I can continue to do a good job and provide informative votes on all the items that are brought before me under dais. Part of what I presented, if I can bring this mayor and council up to date, one of the last items that I presented before the prior council that I got approval from the prior council is to move forward with the creation of an audit committee here at the city level. As you know, I was appointed by Dr. Larry Feldman to the audit committee at the school board level, and so I thought that the audit committee worked so effectively, and they were so, it provided a transparency level for the school board, and we know what stuff they've been plagued with in the past, and so coming forward, I thought that it would be a good idea to bring it to the city level. And the city attorneys did start. I did get a phone call from Weiss Sorota's office firm, and we did start some work on it. And so I would like, at this moment, to now have, since we had a transition of administration here, I would like to again bring this up and to know that I have the support of the council to move forward with the work that has already been started to bring forth language and legislation to create this audit committee that I had proposed previously. I know Councilman Burgess and Vice Mayor Waldman had already expressed their yes previously, and now I would like the rest of council and the new mayor to say if they support the creation of the audit committee so that the attorneys can continue working to bring this language forward. Thank you.
Mr. Maldonado, Mr. Shelley.
Thank you.
And then
One thing I know we received their committees today, and I wanted to ask you about a technology review committee. I know that here in the city, police department and the city, technology is in the forefront, and I want to make sure, and my suggestion would be that if it's possible to put some type of committee together to review what we're implementing here and also for the future of our city. And I think we need to, I know that there are other cities throughout the states that have implemented such thing as Wi-Fi throughout the city to enhance our downtown area. And so maybe we could take a look at that. So I just want to make that, put that out there for consideration.
Okay.
That's it. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Shelley?
Yeah, one of the things I'd like to, I guess, get some more information about everybody that came up, the residents that spoke during the public comment. One of their concerns was this bulk trash that had been reduced to once a month. So I'd like to try to get more information on that as far as maybe getting some numbers run, as far as the feasibility of expanding that to maybe twice a month versus just once a month. I know before we had it every once a week, and that was probably too extreme as far as the budget constraints because we have very tight budget issues that I know. So I would like to maybe get some information, see what the feasibility of that is so that at least the next time the residents come up I can address that issue for them. That's all.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Waldman.
Yes, thanks. Sorry, thank you. Excuse me. Thursday, we will celebrate Farm Workers Week at the Southeast Skills Center, and it's Judy's Closet Coming Out show. So we're going to have a fashion show with business clothes for the migrant workers who are going out into the workforce. So that should be very exciting. And I had a question. On 137th Avenue, when we were knocking doors, particularly in the Waterstone area, we met a lot of people. The concern was that 137th Avenue was often very dirty. And I know that that's, that's a touchy issue there, but bottles and cans. And I'm just wondering about with the races coming up this coming weekend, that's going to be the gateway. People are going to get off the turnpike and go down there. So if I may ask through the chair, Robert Landon, a question.
Yeah, it's actually county maintained.
Right.
But the track has made several calls, and we've also called on their behalf. And it's my understanding that actually Councilman Burgess was also called on this, and it's my understanding they say that it will be completed by Thursday. So it'll all be cleaned up, mowed, and picked up by Thursday.
Thank you. I thank you very much, Mr. Burgess, for taking care of that. And thank you, Robert. Excuse me. I didn't really get a chance to say too much at the swearing in because I just couldn't speak. But I just want to thank everyone who came out and voted and showed the support and the love, and the people really spoke. So I really appreciate that very, very much. Thank you. Thank you for supporting me and believing in me. And I think I'm just going to say that the last thing on my little list is to remind everybody that our Angel Tree reception, Claire's back there telling me, is December 3rd, and that will be at the Capri Restaurant. And we have an angel tree, and you come, you buy an angel, you take an angel home, and they start at $5, and we give out as much money as we can to all the children with physical or mental disabilities. And Capri is the sponsor for that. They pay for everything from all the food to the sodas to the desserts. So please, if you come, what time is it, Clara? 6:30? 6:30 to about 9. So thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman.
I want to do that again.
I'll get you back. Councilman Williams.
Yes, sir. Let me just once again thank the community for going out and voting. They showed the interest in our government, and let me thank you all for such a job that you've done. The other issues that I have is let me give the interim acting city manager high accommodations for the work and diligence that he has done. And with that, also let me also happening December 12th. I know the Education Committee had already started it. It's called Celebrating Reading at FICO Williams Center, and it's going to be December 12th at 1 p.m. And so I know Miss Patricia Fairclough from McCormick was one of the persons who was instrumental in getting this, so we want to make sure that we continue our support for the Education Committee. I know that it will be held at FICO Williams on December 12th at 1 p.m. That's a Saturday. The other issue is that I would like to announce that I will have an office space at the FICO Williams building so that I can meet with residents and have like almost a sub-office at FICO Williams for any concerned citizen. And I will have office hours posted that I will be there so that anyone who can freely come. I represent the entire city of Homestead, but I want to make sure that I'm accessible to you and have public office hours so that you may come by and tell me all about your problems, and we'll see what we can do to help you. I think that is all, Mayor. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. We've got a couple items, and one of them is a request for a motion to amend for the a resolution to provide for the public comment to be moved forward earlier in the agenda. Can I have a motion for that?
I move.
Thank you, Mr.
I'll
Williams.
second it.
Thank you. All in
Mayor,
favor?
before we take a vote, I have a point of clarification on that item. I would like to know if public comment goes before and then we discuss, and if the public then has additional comments after hearing all of the business of the council, would they be then allowed to go to the podium and add to any business that we have discussed after they have already approached the podium?
Most definitely. If they want to wait, stay through the evening, most definitely.
Thank you.
I'm trying to make this a little easier for the mothers and fathers who have to get their kids in bed by 8 o'clock, you know, homework, et cetera, et cetera. So, yes, at any time they can interject, yes. So we have a motion, second, all in favor? Okay, thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, so we will go ahead and draft an amendment to the procedural resolution to incorporate that, and if it's all right with the council, I think it would be useful to have an attorney's report on the agenda, so, but if you don't mind, I'm going to add it after the manager's report, so that I can request executive sessions, and there's just a place there in case I have something to report.
Sure. 4 or 5 items up. I also have a appointment that I would like to make to the League of Cities. I'd like to ask Councilman Burgess if he would take that.
Yes,
League of
sir, I
Cities. A motion is required.
I'll move it.
Thank you.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We also have a reappointment to the Firefighters Retirement Board. We've got Jack Seats, we have Dominic Biondo, we have Donald Smoke. Are they here? Anyone here from them? Okay. The motion?
I'll move that we reappoint Jack Patrick Seltz, Dominic Biondo, and Donald Smoke to the Firefighters Retirement Board.
Okay, second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Let's see, we have those seats I'm going to pass on. We also have an opening on the Metropolitan Planning Organization, which is a seat that's very important to us at the Dade County level. And I would like to represent the city on that. I need a motion for that.
I'll move.
Thank you. Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. And really, I'm sorry, we have an appointment also for the Education Committee. And help me on the name, Dr. Saad Abdullah. Is he here? Abdullah, is he here? No? So motion to it's not required, is it? So we'll just appoint him, not required, no motion required.
No, you need a motion.
Okay, motion to reappoint. Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's it. I too want to say thank you very much for coming out. The election was a tremendous turnout, and just the love and respect that you showed at the swearing in was phenomenal. 300-400 people here. I saw people with tears in their eyes, people with joy in their face, and it was overwhelming. And that's what it takes to build a city, bring everybody together, and we're going to continue to do that. I thank you for your support and look forward to you at these meetings. Nice turnout tonight. Also, before we close, I'd like to recognize former Mayor Linda Bell is here. Who else is here? We got Tim Nelson. Thank you for coming. We got Nazi Sierra. Thank you for coming. I miss anybody?
Councilman McCormick was here earlier.
Councilman McCormick.
He left.
Thank you all for coming back. We're adjourned.